talk about what's new in 2026 with Brack Tours. Just to keep everything kind of organized, we've got just a quick little bit of what you can expect today on the call. And like I said, we're going to try to keep it as brief as possible. We'll talk about what makes Brack Tours different for any of your clients looking to travel to Ireland. That's the destination that Brack Tours specializes in. And then we'll talk about what's new in 2026 and some tours that you can expect with Brack Tours for your clients. Then we'll have a Q&A at the very end of the call, just like I mentioned multiple times before. So don't forget to add those questions into the chat box for us. We are happy to answer any questions. If we don't get through all of them today, then we are happy to send them in an email, and you can certainly get in contact with our team members. We'll have their contact details readily available. So feel free to reach out to our team here. With that being said, I want to introduce our speakers. First up, we've got Nuala Saul, who is the Managing Director at Brack Tours.
Good evening, all. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy work day and your busy schedule to join our webinar this evening. And I know for some of you, it may be your first introduction to Ireland, or it could be your second. You maybe were on our previous webinar, which we held in February. So if that's the case, thank you for coming back. I'm just going to give you some of an overview of Brack Tours, and I really do hope that today you find it beneficial going forward, and you can always follow up with us after. So my name is Nuala Saul. I'm Managing Director of Brack Tours, and with over 30 years experience in the tourism industry, both in Ireland and in the United States, I'm confident I have gained the extensive life and work skills to take us through this challenging industry, which we love, and it is exciting. So that's why we're in it. And I just love what I do, and I love working with my colleagues and team here. And on that note, I will hand you over to my colleague, Colm.
Good afternoon, everybody. And like Nuala said, I appreciate you taking the time out to come and join us this afternoon. So my name is Colm Murphy, so you're not going to get any more of an Irish name than that. And like Nuala, I've been in the industry for a long time now, too long to mention. I cover the sales and marketing with Brack Tours, but I'm also one of their tour managers and tour guide on the road. So I'll be out with the group. So you never know if you see something that might suit yourselves. Well, on this webinar today, it could be myself driving them. And I really look forward to talking a little bit more about the tours later on in the presentation, and looking forward to your questions at the end of it. So hopefully you'll enjoy our webinar. So as we would say here in Ireland, Céad Míle Fáilte Carja. So basically that means 100,000 welcome to you all, to all our friends. And that's a traditional greeting to everybody when they land to the country here. We're a very welcoming country, and we are delighted that you have come on the webinar. But we'd be more delighted if you send more clients over to us, because they will experience that real Irish greeting and treat as they travel around. Everybody's invited, everybody's cherished, as we say, open hearts, open roads, where every soul is part of the story. We like to include everybody, no matter what your background is, where you come from, what you do. We're all about making it a big Céad Míle Fáilte for everybody. And I know Nuala will actually touch on that a little bit more when she's talking a little bit about the company and what we do. So inclusivity and accessibility is always included in our tours, and it's something we're very proud of doing.
Thank you, Colm. So who are we at Brack Tours? So if any of you were on our previous webinar, you would have got the full insight onto the foundation of the company, and which was founded by Peter Clark, who I believe Cassie just said has logged on as well, tuned in. So Peter's aim was to set up the company with like-minded, passionate individuals like himself to deliver a world-class, top-class destination and service, which we like to think that we offer. So the company has grown organically. We are a small team, and we have a very high retention of staff based across Ireland, Northern Ireland, and the US. and many of you maybe already dealt with my colleague Sinead in Galway. And most of the rest of the team are based here in Uri, County Down with myself. So we offer a hybrid system of our staff working so they can enjoy a great work-life balance is what it's all about now. So we're very, very proud to sell our country, the island of Ireland, and for very many reasons and very many different tour products. And our own, and also each staff member has their own individual favourites and favourite places, and they have no hesitation to share all that information of the favourite hotspots with you. Everyone has their own favourite places. So we live here, we work here, and we love here, and we want to share that with your clients. So we also have our professional memberships, which align with the industry now, which has been very popular as different things that we've had to align ourselves on a learning curve as well as the company established. And in 2019, I was asked to be on the ITOA, which is the Inbound Tour Operators Association of Ireland. And at that stage, I was asked to join as an executive member. And very swiftly, then I developed up through the ranks, and I'm now the current president of ITOA. And you'll see me there with my lovely gold chains, which is locked away safely. And that is at our recent AGM. So the ITOA, we're the representative body for the members, 37 members that we have. And we negotiate with our stakeholders in a very close relationship with the three main stakeholders of tourism in Ireland here: Tourism Northern Ireland, Tourism Ireland, and Fáilte Ireland. And there's a great rapport, and lobbying goes on constantly. We also are very proud to be a Green Tourism Gold member accredited since 2019, and then onwards now for a programme that we're currently working on, led by a team member, Megan, and that's with the Sustainable Tourism Network accreditability. We are members since 2024, and that is it's quite a lot of work, and it's a learning curve, and it's very, very fulfilling, and sustainability is the way forward. And it's we'll touch on that, and if anyone has any further questions, feel free to come back to me on that, because it's not on everyone's radar, but the small things do make the difference, and small things develop to big things, big progression.
Yes, and we'll learn a little bit about what makes those differences with Brack Tours as opposed to the larger tour operators visiting Ireland.
Yeah, well, as I said, our small team of staff, they have an immense wealth of knowledge across Scotland and Ireland, and they like to bring that and customise that into their different packages that they create. They will listen to the travel agent and see what their requests. A lot of agents know or have an idea of what the hotspots are, but our team really do know the hidden gems, and we can bring you those to those and get a balance of unique experiences depending on what your clients want. So as I mentioned, we're locally owned, we're on the ground here. We can develop unique itineraries based on what your clients need, their needs, budgets, everything from the main highlights from unique B&B and cosy pubs to five-star hotels and castles. And of course, you would have the wonderful stories and camaraderie along the way. We do like to ask people to slow down and take it a little, to enjoy the locations when you're there. And also then the smaller groups that we specialise in. We do have some programme tours, which Colm is gratefully going to take you through and give you some highlights on that. But for your clients, if you have a small group of family, friends, a niche type of group that you want a package based around, let us know. We're more than welcome to offer a package that's flexible to their needs. And of course, that's with hand-picked, charming accommodations from the larger cities, the villages, you name it. There's not an area that we do not know or that we like to support in the regions here. And moving on then to the testimonials, I say thank you, Cassie, for bringing that up. We do have many five-star ratings, which we are so proud to have. And that's really just, we've always had those great testimonials coming through, but to see every aspect of the business being incorporated into that after last season and the season before, it really is heartwarming. And our staff love to see that as well. And we stand by our product, and our guests tell us that the same. So it's very, very important. What do they say? You're only as good as your last review. So You'll see in one of them there that I just put in there Brian Corcoran, who's a group tour leader and musician. Wonderful tours that he does. And he's highlighted all of the help and support that he would have got. And as well there from Kathy, from the help and support from our staff member here in the office, to the wonderful Colm, who I wish we could clone, both himself and Peter. We could clone them to be just to have many more, but there are many, many other tour directors equally as good, but we're just blessed to have Colm in the office here with us in the off season, and in the peak season and touring season, he's out on the road, actually as of this week. So we're lucky you have him here today. Yes, there's a range of passionate professional and tour guides across the country, and here I would also say that Peter Clark has been handcrafting and creating the type of tour director and driver that he likes to develop and deliver the tours that we program. There's a photograph of our wonderful Dennis, who's been tour directing with us for many years, and there's no one as professional as him either. He's a witty, charming Kerry man, and a very proud Kerry man as well. And Colm has a little black book of hand-picked driver guides of his own. So he will really, as I suppose, I know Colm does a bit of everything from the sales and marketing to the tour directing, but in the winter months he's actively working and contracting with other tour directors and drivers.
Perfect. And it's never been easier to take your clients and send them off to Ireland with a lot of nonstop flight options as well with some of the largest carriers.
It's true, Kathy, and we are delighted and proud that, especially coming out of COVID, that were many other destinations that their transatlantic, that the connectivity maybe was ceased or withdrawn or reduced, but not for Ireland. Ireland grew, and we have Aer Lingus have 19 now non-stop flights from into Ireland, and our main hubs there of Shannon and Dublin. And you'll see in that little map in front of you there, it's outlined, which is a very good map for you to save and to refer back to. And Nashville was the most recent, which just started, starting this month now with Aer Lingus. So Aer Lingus for group flights, we're happy to contract with those with a very special flexibility, I suppose, for the agent, where we can lock in your non-stop flight for your clients. Group numbers from 6 or more on the non-stop, and if there's interline, it's a group of 10 or more. So we can hold that space on the flights and have you the guaranteed price in order for you to be able to sell the program. Also, it's not just all about Aer Lingus, but there's many other non-stop services with the various other airlines listed below. And I'm sure you as travel agents are very well familiar with them. Very proud of the exciting new routes as well with WestJet for the Canadian market coming in as well. There's great non-stop flights there and very favourable rates. I'm not forgetting about Shannon. Sorry, Kelsey, not forgetting about Shannon. It's great to also come into maybe one airport and fly home from the other. So happily come into Dublin, do a few nights there and travel on and fly out of Shannon, or vice versa.
Perfect. So we're very excited for the new routes, and we hope it just continues on with more cities. There's also next year as well some new hotel openings as well, which is great.
Yes,
touch on that.
I suppose again the advantage of us being here on the ground recently. Myself and my colleagues attended the annual workshops led by Falch Ireland, and there we learn it's maybe some of the agents were over as well, but there's great word of what's coming and what enhancements are coming along in various hotels, and it really is exciting. We're very, very happy to see the wonderful Grace. What a wonderful name. And the Grace is going to be opening in Westport Estate, 129 room, 5-star hotel, opening in spring 26. We are delighted to say we have contracted rates with them already, so we can reserve space. Westport, an amazing town, one of my favourites. It's one tidy town, and also tidy town of Ireland, sorry. And that's where you still have the authentic character of an Irish town, but there's a lot more to do within it, from music, food and drink. And then, you're blending that in with pubs and music in the evening, as well as the authentic Irish experience and luxury of staying at the Grace in Westport Estate. And that's adjacent to Westport House. So any queries you have on that or want suggestions, it would be a perfect base. And this is just one of many, many hotels that are coming on board and also have got updates and refurbishments. Another great one that I stayed in recently was the Brehon, and we got rave reviews about it last year. But like everything, we like to test it and see it. And I had the pleasure of being there recently for 2 or 3 days with work, and I can't fault it. It was amazing. Just outside Killarney, excellent to deal with from front of house staff to the general manager. Nothing was ever a problem. The most amazing breakfast, and just a 5 minute drive into the town of Killarney. So that was the Brehon.
Great. And that's another perk of having, boots on the ground and having their team be local. They've, been there, done that. They've been to these hotels. They have done these new experiences, and they can really kind of speak to that as well when trying to, close a sale for your clients. And Colm or Nuala will talk about the new immersive experiences as well. That's
Yeah.
new to Brack Tours.
The immersive experience, everyone loves to get in and to immerse themselves into an experience. It's not just about visiting a hotel or a city or a town, but they want to get hands on and do something. And this one I loved. It's this up at Loch Castle, and they have fabulous grounds there in the estate just outside Donegal town. You can see the castle in the background, and they now do the horse and trap ride through the estate. That would need to be pre-booked, and sure, wouldn't that be just fabulous on no matter whether it's a soft day in Ireland or a sunny day? And how that evolved was a local guy who had the pony and trap close by, and he was spotted and asked could he give some of their American visitors a ride, and that's how it started. So that's just one. There's the Make Your Irish Coffee, which is done at many, whether it's a pub, a hotel. Colm is a great man at that as well. And also then the soda bread making, which soda bread, brown bread, the Irish scones, that's proven really, really popular an experience. And some of them are blended in with the farm visits, the working farm visits. So for multi-generational visits or tour packages, it really is wonderful. And even the men get involved. Sometimes they can be better scone bakers and bread makers than the women. Um, Celtic meditation, that is something, it's like a new buzzword nearly for the tourism product in Ireland here. And there's nowhere more beautiful than to unwind and to embrace yourself in the magnificent landscapes here that we have. And the Celtic meditation can be done on a specific tour, but there's so many regions. So actually, there's every region in Ireland. There is an area that you can do that. And Colm is going to be out on a tour. I think it's in June, Colm, is that? But it's Celtic Mindfulness Tour. And that's just one that which is excellent, that there's so many different immersive experiences that you can do on that, from the yoga mats to the foraging and just really downtime.
Absolutely. That's amazing. And, for those who want to think outside the box and not just, kiss the Blarney Stone and do those more popular experiences, Brack Tours takes you to the local spots and kind of does some different things that, you're not going to see a million photos of on Instagram. So we really love that. And now we'll talk about kind of the different types of trips that they sell for your clients if they want something custom or something that they just want to join a tour with.
Yeah, thanks, Cassie. So I'll just quickly run through the types of trips that we sell, and they're group tours, the self-departure dates, and that's where you will find all those tours on the website. And that's for clients looking to join, other travelers, solo travelers, whoever wants to come can join in those tours. Easy sell for agents and easy to book on, so they're scheduled dates. Our custom tours as well, so this is where we would work with you, the agents, if you have clients and they're asking for specific requests, bucket list requests or something out of the ordinary. That's where we would sit and work with you to make sure that you can get that sale over the line. And as Nuala has aforementioned there, we have a great team behind us here, and with so many years experience out on the road with our colleagues here, really looking at and going out and trying all the new experiences out there, we can really put something really exciting together, particularly for the likes of clients coming looking at custom tour. For the private guided tours, that's perfect for those that just want to do it within their own ability and basically just really don't want to mix maybe with too big or large groups. So that can go basically from 1, 2 people to little chauffeur drives up to maybe 8, 9, 10 people. So there's no limit in that. But a chauffeur drive is a way to do it on your own. But we do always say, there's a minimum of the 3-day requirement on that. And that only makes sense because if you come in here, you want to see more than Ireland just in the 3 days. And then the South Drive tours. So again, this is another angle of exploring the country. Explore responsibly on the South Drive tour. It's low impact. It's local support. You're supporting all the local people, and freedom to explore sustainably. And that means that you can actually pick what you want to do, spend as much time in an area maybe off the beaten track, and get to know the locals that little bit more. And I'm just going to pass you on to Nuala because Nuala might have a little bit more to say on those type of tours, the South Drive one, before I actually go into our feature tours, which we're going to talk about in a moment.
Thanks, Colm. Yeah, you've covered that really well, but just on the self-drive, some people think it's a contradiction that it's not sustainable. There's many options in Ireland now where there's charging points for the complete EV vehicles. However, it's not, I'll be honest, it's not right up and ready to go for the full country, but the hybrid option is there, and it's also a very good option with the charging points throughout, so you have the flexibility on the hybrid. And as Colm said, you're supporting local. The other thing I would say is on the private guided and the chauffeur tours for your own vehicle, they're extremely popular. So we suggest book early, even if we know our dates, we know the dates that we're coming in, a rough idea of where they're going. You need to get that locked in because they're extremely heavily booked up for the season, and already booked up for a lot of dates for next year. So we also can do not just selling one of these packages, we can combine them. So perhaps if you're out on a tour of one of the tours with Colm and you want to do a self-drive, a pre or post day, a city break, maybe go to Northern Ireland after touring the Republic of Ireland, any of that, we can dovetail them to your needs, and as well even package a city break if you're going over to mainland UK. So that's just something else to keep in mind, that we can combine them. And lastly, on the sustainability option as well, keep in mind if you're doing a city, Belfast or Dublin or Cork, you don't need to drive and you don't need a coach tour. You can do that very efficiently. And if you want assistance, we'll gladly help and book bus or train services between the cities if it's a case that some people want to do a bit of independent touring and then add on a chauffeur drive, again, as Colm said, with a minimum of the 3 days. So we can dovetail or package it.
Perfect. So thanks for explaining a little bit more about the types of trips. Like Colm said, we're going to be focusing in and zeroing in on some group tours specifically today.
Yes, Cassie, we're going to get to those now in a moment. But just before we get to the group tours, just to give you a quick run through of what's included. As you can see there, the lodging. So you'll be able to look up to the hotels basically that we're using on the group tours. So 4 and 5 star accommodations for your convenience and comfortability. We have tried and tested these hotels. A lot of them are favorites of ours. We keep going back to them. Some of them are in hidden parts of the country, which makes us that little bit different than the bigger tour operators. So we keep them as hidden gems. And on your tours, then you get meals every day. So that's included your breakfast, or you have a lunch, or maybe during the day. And most evenings you will have dinners included. And of course, who doesn't want to taste the food in Ireland? We have our own. We grow it all here. We're self-sustainable. We have our own fresh produce produced here in Ireland. And when people come here, the word you always get, how do you eat all that food? There's nothing small when it comes to Ireland and food portions. And I'm sure many of you have been here before will reiterate with that. The features as well, outlined in our itineraries, they're all included. On some of the tours here, you'll probably see one or two new experiences and new places that we go to. It's not to repeat the same old tour. And we always throw a little hidden gem in, and that's one thing that we leave on our tours and leave time for. The guides that you have all experienced, as Nuala said, handpicked by Peter and also by myself this past number of years too. We know what we want in a tour driver, in a tour guide when we're going around the country, and they're excellent in what they do. And the other thing about it is having a little bit of crack. Now, don't get the wrong meaning for that, folks. Crack is the Gaelic word for fun. Okay, so you'll be speaking Aberconch agus a Gaelga. So a little Gaelga, a little Irish when you come here. And of course, all taxes and fees are included. So no hidden surprises on what we offer. And as I say, we're going to jump over now to what's new with us for 2026. Of course, we have a lot more on offer, which you'll find in the website. But we specifically put these together. And the reason we did this was focusing on feedback that we've actually got from clients that have traveled with us, past clients. People got in contact, would you not do a tour, doing this, doing that? So we sat together as a team and we worked together to put these 4 new tours together for, I suppose, the seasons of the year. So spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So I'm going to go on to the first tour, and that's our Spring into Ireland tour. And the reason we picked this tour is because Ireland is really an all year round destination, and to come in spring and autumn is a beautiful time before it gets very, very busy. And we try to put this a little balance on the tours, that you get a little bit of taste of the heritage of the country, you get a taste of a feel of the country, the people. So we have something that ticks all the boxes in this. The Irish National Stud and Gardens. It's not just a stud, it's a big experience. You can actually, if you wanted to, you could go and try and ride a horse there if you want. They have a new experience there. It's a laugh when I see people doing that. First time getting on a horse, albeit an imitation one, it's fun, but it's a good laugh to see it, and everybody has a good laugh in it. So a beautiful place to go to. The Rocket Castle, it's iconic. When you come around into Castle, you see this large building, colossal in front of you. You think it's like something that has appeared out of a Disney movie, I'll be honest with you. It's a place of royalty and priestlyhood. So it's a great visit and definitely one of the top places to go to when you come to Ireland. Cliffs of Moher, I needn't say anything else. It's a fantastic visit. Cliffs that are over 700 feet high on the west coast of County Clare. Go for around 7 miles, and always a very, very big, popular place for our visitors to come and visit. It can be busy at times, and we do have other places you can go, but it is spectacular when you go to visit. Glengowla Mine may be something that you haven't heard of out in Connemara. Here you can go visit a mine, the old lead mines. You can go and actually see a farmer working with his sheepdog. You can actually see the guy that's working in the mine, that worked in the mine, the generations of it. And then they can go and cut turf, and you can see the actual turf cutting. A number of experience in that one visit, which is unusual when you go to other places. They have 3 experience at one visit, so it's fantastic. And then you're not going to come to Ireland and not have a drink. That would be sacrilegious, we would say here. So we're known for a drink, our whiskies and our beers. And the oldest place on the island that has a bar in the town of Athlone is called Sean's Bar, verified in the Guinness Book of Records. And it's an experience when you get there. You speak to one of the local owners, Timmy. He tells you the whole story, how the bar is established and how they are now actually brewing their own beers and making their own whiskey in it. And it's really putting Sean's Bar on the global map. So that's our Spring into Ireland. Dates on that, April 16th to 23rd, and you'll find all the details. I say, staying in beautiful places in Kilkenny, Killarney, Galway, and on its way back to Dublin, we stay in Dunboyne Castle.
Wonderful.
So Cassie, if we move on to our next tour, maybe.
Just before you go on to that, Colm, I think we've been referred to the Irish National Stud as we have our own. So guests going out on that tour, you'll have either Peter or Colm, our own national studs.
Wonderful. Even a nice little perk there.
Normally I say that to all the gentlemen coming out when they buy the Irish National Stud cap on them. Talk about advertising themselves. Well, folks, as I say, we're going to go to the Wild Atlantic Way now. Beautiful part of the country stretches from County Donegal up in the northwest of the country right down to County Cork in the southwest of the country. What we don't do at all, we kind of three quarters of it on this tour. We start up in County Mayo and make our way back down to County Kerry and eventually back over for our last night up in Dublin. What a beautiful an unspoiled part of the country. It's what people dream of when they come to Ireland. See these rolling waves coming in of the coastline, the headlands, the mountains, the boglands. You know, everything's there in such a small for to visit such a small island, should I say. We try and take in probably the highlights of it, and these are our highlights. I take you out to Achill Island off County Mayo, a beautiful, unspoilt part of Ireland. And to be honest with you, it's like taking you back 100 years. There's still parts of the island where people live very simple, and we talk about that on the tour. It also featured in recent movies. Banshees of Inisherin was filmed out in the island as well as out in the Aran Islands. So beautiful part of the country in Mayo, coming down through Galway, down into County Clare again to the Cliffs of Moher. Of course, when you're in Clare, you cannot but visit the cliffs. But we also take you around the Burren area of that, a fascinating part of County Clare, which is remarkable when people come here. I'm not going to tell you too much about it because you have to come to experience it. And then on our way down, we go to Bunratty Castle. Now, I know for you agents, you're probably familiar with this, but it's remarkable since the pandemic, what they've actually reinvented at the park, new experiences that come alive with you. Going around in the horse and trap, going into to see where the soda bread, get your hands mixed up and making soda bread in it, meeting the Irish wolfhounds as you go around, and it's part of new experience. And I know, Nuala, if you want, you can come in on this because you were down there, weren't you, lately?
Yeah, I was there on a recent fan trip and loved it. And again, as you said, people think, oh, I've been there, done that. I could have spent hours and hours, and there's something at that folk park for every age group, demographic, and interest. I did some gift shopping, bought beautiful earrings, had handcrafted, local lady there. I had a lovely pint of Guinness, wouldn't have probably shouldn't have had. And some of the other group, the agents over from the US, they were playing the boron. So there was so much. It's not just about the castle, and then of course, as you know, you have Dirty Nellies across the road. But I was really wowed by that, as well as some of the other new experiences.
And that has come around by listening to the tour operators, guys, from the likes of ourselves within the ITOA, listen to what they want. And, it's great to see attractions listening to the operators as to what, we think might work to take extra guests over as well. And we kind of on this tour, we go through Adair Village, which is a lovely little heritage village, and really going to hit the heights now in the next couple of years because that's where the Ryder Cup's coming to, actually. So Europe playing the America. So it's at Adair Manor, but it's more than just a place that people come to play golf. Beautiful heritage village. You can learn about life, how people worked on the old estates there. And it's a beautiful stop on your way to the likes of Killarney or heading on to Cork. And I suppose the jewel in the crown for me, actually, as a tour guide, is the Dingle Peninsula. Now, some of your guests before might have been over to Ireland and drove the Ring of Kerry, etc. And that Dingle to me is unspoiled Ireland. The Gaelic language, Irish language, is alive in the peninsula. You'll see the old customs. You see the artifacts dating back to over 2,000 years. And just to take a drive around that, never know and mind taking some of the visits which we've included on it, is actually spectacular. And to me, it's probably one of my favorite places. So that tour runs into summer months. It's July and into August, the Wild Atlantic Way one. And like Ireland, we hope that the weather will be fantastic that time of year. Stays in Westport up in County Mayo, Ennis in County Clare. You actually stay in Dingle, so out on the peninsula. And then we make our way, of course, just because of logistics, back to Dublin for your last night or so. So that's the Wild Atlantic Way tour.
Wonderful. And then on to the traditional Ireland tour.
I suppose the traditional Ireland tour is one where we have really listened to our past clients. It is in supposedly the autumn time. Well, we still, I suppose in Ireland, we still regard September as summer because it seems to be the month that we get the most sunshine in. But it's one of those tours that we really listen to our guests, previous guests. And so we stay in Kilkenny, in Cork, Killarney, Galway, and back again to a beautiful hotel Dunboyne Castle on the outskirts of Dublin for a last night stay. But on it, we include visits to the likes of stately homes, to castles. You get your hands on by a birds of prey experience where you have the likes of small hawks and eagles coming to land on your arm. It's fantastic. I've done it. You might think it's frightening. It's one of the best experiences I've ever had. To see a hawk coming at you at 70 mile an hour and all of a sudden stop right in front of you,
Oh,
it's
wow.
fantastic. We also go to Kilkenny, medieval city. You get a walking tour around that, visit the castle. It's one of the oldest cities in Ireland. It's actually where our first government sat, believe it or not. Kilkenny, beautiful medieval city. And we're mixing all of that with, I suppose, the history of Ireland, where we go to Cork then. So Cork and Cove, places of immigration, deportation. So we touch on our past on this. So we're mixing, I suppose, our past with our traditions on these tours with some of our visits. So, there's a lot included in this that complement each other. The Ring of Kerry, a fantastic drive around what's known as the Avira Peninsula. Beautiful day out. You go along the seabed and the first part of it, and then you come back down through the McGillicuddy Reeks, the highest mountain range in Ireland, back down to the beautiful town of Killarney, where you'll not be stuck for something to do. That is for sure. And it's probably one of the most sought after places and towns in Ireland to stay in. And we make our way back up along the coast. You take a ferry ride right across the River Shannon up to the cliffs of Moher. We go through the Burren area of County Clare up to the city of the tribes. And was probably the name that was given to them by the Anglo-Normans when up to 12 tribe families settled in the city of Galway and named it after. They made it a walled city, but today Galway is a thriving city and a tourist hotspot. It doesn't matter when you go to Galway, there's always something on for everybody to get involved in, be it festivals, music, food eating, drinking, whatever you want. And of course, the city nestled at the end of Galway Bay. You can take a walk out to beautiful Salt Hill and make your way out along the seaside in the evenings. And there's nothing more beautiful than looking at the sun, as the song says, coming down across Galway Bay. And then we spend our last night back up in Dunboyne on the traditional Irish tour. September dates on that one. But again, for anybody, you could take this tour. You could put package for clients as well. All of these can be done with, I said, the likes of any of our tours. If somebody wanted custom tours, we can include bits and pieces of everything in any of the tours. So that's our traditional Ireland tour. And we're going to move on to our last featured tour, and that is our Festive Flavours tour. Now, you might want to say to yourself, why would you want to come to Ireland at Christmas time? You want to come because of the Irish welcome, and it's spectacular. That's why you want to come. And this tour really encompasses all of that. We stay in Waterford, Cork, Kilkenny, and back up to Dublin. But what we do is, Ireland has become a big Christmas market destination. We get a lot of travellers coming over from Europe with their wares to sell them in the markets here. It's like one of these stops to say, well, we're going to Ireland. Ireland's the place to be at Christmas. So Christmas markets in Waterford, in the city of Cork, in the city of Kilkenny. And we put in actually two options on this tour. So one, if you really, really want to really treat yourself and stay in high-class five-star properties, we've got that on offer. But if you just want to come and you just want to have fun, you don't mind your accommodation, if you're downtown, of course, in a four-star nice property, and get yourself involved out in the streets and really enjoy the Christmas spirit, we have an offering on that too. Some of the highlights on both tours are the likes of the Kilkenny walking tour around Kilkenny and have a mulled wine as you go around, warm yourself up as you're walking around and get yourself into the Christmas spirit, literally. You also have a visit to Jameson Whiskey as well. And then you've offered food offerings in a few of the places that we visit as well. A beautiful time to come to Ireland, a relaxing tour, and it's something that has really come to the highlight and we decided, well, look, if we give 2 offers on this tour, and you'll see all the details of this on our website on the offerings on it. So these are just 4 of the offerings, or 5 with the 2 festive flavors tours that we have on offer. But as you see on our website, there are a lot more that you can buy into. And any of these, if you have any questions on them, please do not hesitate to put them in the question chat at the end of the tour, end of the webinar, sorry.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it's really interesting because a lot of people associate Christmas markets with like Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, which yes, that is a fact. But Ireland also has their own Christmas markets, and they also have their own Christmas traditions as well. So I think that's really interesting that you package that up into a tour, and that's a great opportunity. And then there's some other tours as well that aren't quite on the website yet, but they are working on getting them up there.
There is, we're working on a few of these, and again, you know, some of our staff come up with absolutely fantastic ideas, and we look around and you say, well, God, there's nobody doing these, so why not us? So that's what makes us different and unique. So we're not afraid to try something and put it out there. So watch out shortly for a whiskey and golf tour, a whiskey greens tour, aptly named whiskey and greens, alcohol and golf. Bit of fun, and it's one of those tours that it's not just all about the golfing. So if people wanted to come and take their partners, whoever they may be, and they wanted to do something else, we can accommodate that. So when golfers are golfing, we can do something else to complement the golf by taking them on other experiences. You visit some of the newer distilleries, but we'll always throw in the old favourites like the Jameson or such and like that. So it's going to be an exciting tour. Please look out for that. Also, St. Patrick, of course, Ireland's always associated and has been with St. Patrick. And St. Patrick's Trail is something that we're putting together. It's going to be an exciting tour, being honest with you. There's so much to see on this tour. And this will probably go right across the country following the Trail of St. Patrick, taking you from east coast to west coast. And of course, we have to stay in the city of Armagh. That's the ecclesiastical capital of Ireland, where there's 2 St. Patrick's Cathedral, one from the Catholic Church and one from the Church of Ireland, both looking over and watching over each other. And there's some fabulous experiences in that part of the country, stretching from Lacall, where St. Patrick first stepped ashore, over to the likes of Westport, to Crowpatrick, where he prayed for the souls of the Irish for 40 days and 40 nights. So watch out for that one. And the last one that we're putting together, which will be up shortly, is called the Puka Festival. You're probably wondering what Puka means. Well, literally means ghost, but the tour is the Halloween Festival. Ireland has become a big Halloween destination. And actually, it's really, really complemented itself, north and south, by giving 2 big offerings. One just north of Dublin in the Boyne Valley, the Valley of the Kings, where there's so many experiences associated with the old traditions of Halloween and going back to the old legends, pre-Christianity. And then we head up to the likes of the north of the country, up by the County Derry, the city of Derry, which, believe it or not, has the largest Halloween festival in the whole of Europe, where you can take part in parades. You can see the fireworks being launched from boats on the River Foyle. It's an excellent tour that we're putting together, and definitely some that you should get your teeth into and look for. And I'm sure there's going to be people out there really wanting to know what this is all about. I think Nuala might have something actually to say on maybe 1 or 2 of those, Nualas. I know we were chatting about that earlier on.
Just on the St. Patrick's Trail, as you mentioned, it's excellent value. It's March, but people always think of going to Ireland or going to Dublin. And Dublin is great, but it's extremely expensive, and it's full of inbound tourism. So if you want to get off the beaten track and go to where us Irish celebrate St. Patrick's Day and mix with communities, that's why we've picked Armagh. And of course, as Colm said, it's the ecclesiastical capital of Ireland, so it makes total sense. And you can go on that to see St. Patrick's grave. The whiskey and golf, he explained that. I'm just glad it's not called green whiskey. I wouldn't try that one now. But the whiskey and green tour sounds great. The festive tour for December, again, it's excellent value. And as well as that, apart from December, in November, I've created many Thanksgiving family packages where US and Canadian visitors have said, right, we'll meet in Ireland. It's excellent value to come to Ireland in November, and we can package that. The main thing is to get it with the right accommodations, because of course you've shorter daylight hours, so it's about getting the right locations to incorporate, whether it's a 3 or 4 or 5 night stay in Dublin. Once there's a non-stop flights, it's great. So keep that in mind as well. And Valentine's, February. Ireland is very romantic year round. We're always full of romance, but there's also some really, really wonderful, quirky luxury accommodations. And that doesn't mean it has to be a 5-star castle. There's some really quaint family-owned guest houses, accommodations in villages by the sea. If we get an idea of what a honeymoon couple is looking for, and all of these special ones, they're never shown on our website because they're sold and packaged, created just for your clients. So let us know what your ideas of what you need. I think you've covered everything else. The food and drink, our tours as well. We have an amazing food offering and drink, but keep in mind for dietary requirements, whatever it is, allergies, dietary requirements, once that's notified on us on our registration form, that the rest is left to us, and we advise all the hotels. So the hotels are aware of that before your guests arrive.
Perfect.
Thanks for that, Nuala.
Yeah.
So if you
Keep
just want to
those
bounce on there,
interest groups.
Cassie.
Yeah. I was just going to say, keep those interest groups in mind. Families, like they said, for Thanksgiving, also golfers, any kind of interest group that, we think Ireland could really knock it out of the park. Really big on golf as well, specifically. I'll let kind of Colin speak to this.
Yeah, just a few events so you can see how popular Ireland is. So up in Northern Ireland, we have the Open coming to Royal Portrush this year. We have also the Irish Open, which is in the K Club down in County Kildare, which is actually a previous venue for the Ryder Cup a number of years ago. And of course, that big event, the Ryder Cup, coming to Adair. And people are ready, looking for space, looking bookings and seeing how they can work around maybe pre or post tours, maybe come to Ireland, maybe play a game of golf or two. So again, if you do get inquiries on that, we can help you work with that. But what I would say is get in pretty quick on that, because golf booking tee times are booking up in a lot of the top courses very, very quickly. So it is going to be a major, major event. So they're just 3 big upcoming golf events that are coming around.
Perfect. So that's what's in it for your clients. I think both Nuala and Colm did a really good job there. Now Nuala will discuss what's in it for you as the agent, as we do appreciate your partnership.
Thanks, Cassie. What's in it for you, the agent, is allowing to freeing up your time. Give us the details of what your clients are looking for, estimated budget, what they're looking for, and leave the rest up to us. Please don't take offense if we try and rejiggle maybe an itinerary that you've sent us through, but we're only doing that for the best experience for your clients, or just to tweak things up a bit to give them a better experience and maybe save them money, or mix it up. But the main thing is you're going to get a 12% commission on any of those tours that Colm outlined, and group leader perks. If for say you liked one of them and you wanted to take that on solely for within your agency or your consortium of agencies, which has been asked for as well. So maybe a travel agent who has maybe 10, 12 offices will sell into that one tour. So if you want one of them exclusive, let us know. We'll happily do that and work on you on group leader perks or free places. Easily contactable. We're here on the phone, free phone, toll free. Everybody's very accessible on the emails. Karen's in the US, and we do work very hard, even over the weekend. So we're always able to accommodate clients. Same for drivers. If out on the road, if there's ever anything, emergency, a health thing, or because there's never anything really happens at the hotels or anything on the tour that there's an issue with. It's more for if, unfortunately, sometimes if there's an emergency for a guest that they do have to return home, we're here to help you, and then we will to help the clients and let you know then what the situation is. Knowledgeable local staff, including all of our guides. We are the best in the business for keeping you right with regarding packaging the tour. We're not about quality, we're not about quantity, we're about quality. Quality to give your clients a memorable experience in Ireland. that they're going to go back to you, their travel agent, and say, I loved Ireland, I'll trust you with packaging another programme. But of course, we're going to want them to come back to Ireland, but maybe a different destination. And Colm says, no hidden surprises or fees. We can package and incorporate what they want as far as pre-booking the main visits and peak season that need to be done, but also any of those immersive ones we can help you with. So we'd be delighted to do that. And again, I know I was a travel agent in the US at once, and I know when you're selling multiple destinations, your time in a day is really, really precious. So if you pass on your inquiry as much as you can, we'll come back to you with the product and hopefully seal the deal for that. So if there's any questions on that, and then of course we have a new easy pay. Some people like to pay as they go instead of having, we're in uncertain times economically, and sometimes people want to get the money aside and put it on their trip rather than spend it. So there's the easy pay system that you can put down once you've paid your deposit. Contact our accounts and they can set up any flexible, stress-free payment plan for you as you want for your clients.
Perfect. Good deal. And with that being said, happy selling, and we hope to, work with you and partner with you at Brack Tours website there, bracktours.com, where you'll see all of the different scheduled departures that we were discussing previously. And now the time is 1:51, so we've got about 9 minutes or so for the Q&A session. And we have a few questions already, but
Great.
first, yes. And I did want to acknowledge one of the commenters, Donna Mans. Looks like they've got some 5-star couples looking to go to Ireland in late September. So we'll get you in touch with Donna to Nuala and Colm, because it looks like
Great,
she's got some interest there. And just, excited to work with you guys. So thank you, Donna, for your comments there. The first question we have is, how big are the tours? I think we mentioned it in the previous slide above, but
those,
just for anyone who may have missed it.
Those tours that Colm highlighted are set tours that have scheduled dates there on that. They're minimum 8, maximum 20 on those. For a special ad hoc tour, if an agent wants to put one together, they can be any number that they want. If they want to have a cut up at 16 or up to full coach of 40, then let us know. I suppose on average, our main coach tours would be in around the 20-25 mark, Colm, wouldn't they? And then the middle one, the middle ground would be the 16 to 20 people. And they even cover a lot of the multi-gen family trips and special interest.
Perfect. Another question is about the easy pay. So they understand $300 per person is the minimum deposit. When is that final payment due after the deposit's been made?
We do a first installment of 300, and then the second part payment is generally about 120 days out. And then the final payment would be 60 to 65 days. And when I say that, the 60 to 65, we're very flexible. We've had it a case of some people are waiting on a monthly payment and their date maybe aligns with a certain date. We let it roll in a couple of weeks, if no problem. Providing it's just that we have to be able to prepay all of our suppliers, but there's flexibility. I will stress again for the deposits, in order for us, our team are very busy, and to free up their time, once we have a deposit from your clients, we need to secure the transport and the accommodations. Everything else can be flexible and amended.
Perfect. Next question is, how customizable can a tour be? So let's say the festive flavors in for Christmas. How customizable could that be for someone?
Is that if they wanted to do that tour, or if they wanted to customize something, a customized tour themselves? If
they want to customize a tour themselves, but they might use one of your guided tours as inspiration for that.
Absolutely, we can tweak. That's why, and actually look on our website for the 2025 tours, and I have to get that in. We still have space, so anyone for late inquiries for this year, and when I say late inquiries, we're still getting bookings now for the tours that are on our website. So there's excellent value in that. Going back to your question on the customizable, we will customize whatever they want. If they want a mix, but of case, we will lead them with the guidance as to the best way to go about it. And we like to tell agents and tell people, try to avoid one night stays. A hub and spoke, base yourself for 2 or 3 nights and maybe in certain locations and do the day tripping from there. And don't try to overpack too much visits in one day. Less is
Oh,
more.
great. Yes. Good deal.
And
Another
what I'm happy
question.
to do,
Oh,
Cassie, as well is, and I find it really speeds up if the initial reach out or engagement with us, and then I'll jump on a Zoom, or one of my colleagues can jump on a Zoom, Sinead, myself, James in the office, and discuss it through with an agent, because sometimes a 5 or 10 minute call is much quicker than 15 emails back and forth.
right. Exactly. That makes total sense.
Mhm.
Another question we had was about tipping. Is tipping customary in Ireland outside of the tour guides, of course, but like restaurants, things like that?
Yeah, Colin, you want to take that? You're out on the road more. You know what's
Yeah,
customary in
well,
the
being
hospitality sector.
honest with you, I would always encourage people to tip if they get a good service. Particularly if you're in restaurants, if you get good service in bars as well. And actually, being honest with you, the quickest way to get a barman's attention, you give him a tip after the first drink. You make sure and come back to you. That always works, but generally, yes. If you get good service, you have to realize, I know it is a tipping culture in North America,
Hmm.
but staff in restaurants and bars here, they're just on a minimum wage here, contrary to what you might read in that. So I always would tip, even if I go out for a meal at home and that, and I get good service. So yeah, it's just common courtesy if you get good service, and it's that's down to the individuals, but common courtesy, and they are very thankful for it.
Perfect. And then the last question we have, the last one currently, do you charge a single supplement fee for your
Yes, we do,
tours?
because we have to. It's not
Yeah,
going into Brack Tours account, it's going into the hotel. So it's a
right.
very good question. It used to be on tours pre-COVID that there was a much better break for the solo traveller. And the solo traveller is slash single supplement is is really for not just the single people, but also for those that maybe can't get away with their partners, or they're interested in a separate tour. So we will work out what the best single supplement rate is.
Okay.
Again, if there's something, if someone's packaging a tour, customizing a tour with us, and I would say avoid peak season if they can. We will negotiate with the hotels the best single room supplement in the off season, and be able to finagle a bit better deal. But yes, there is, and it's just like in the US and Canada now, that they charge you per room, not per person. What you will get a break on is the price of the breakfast. And again, a lot of our hotels that we do contract with, we know we need to get the best single supplement rate for guests. So it's up to us to try and secure that. But it's not us charging it. We actually just basically do the single room at a single room supplement, normally net.
Okay, perfect. Well, we've
Cassie,
on
if I
to our,
could just
yeah,
come back on just
sure.
something there.
Go for it.
So just on the last slide there was a picture of myself with a group,
Oh yeah, there he
and that
is.
was a family group. Yeah, that was a family group.
Oh,
And I
fun.
remember sitting with this group, like Nuala said myself, over a Zoom call. And what they wanted to do was just crazy. And I remember just sitting down and going through it with them and saying, that, look, slow down. If you want to see so much, are you flexible to spend the extra days? Is money the real reason or whatever? So sitting down with that group, you can see that was a big group. They come
Yes.
and they really, really had an experience around Ireland. They're up in Nuala's own part of the country there, up in Dungannon in County Tyrone at the Hill of O'Neill. What an experience they had there, talking about the O'Neills, one of the old clans of Ulster. And basically, they were kind of spiritual as well. They got to visit everywhere that they want on a leisurely pace and at their pace. They slowed it down, and they were really thankful for that phone call and that
Mm-hmm.
conversation, and for us taking the time to actually put them right on that. And I've just actually got an email from them yesterday, believe it or not. And half of that family are looking to come back to Ireland again in 2026, believe it or not.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I know you've had some repeats as well, and that's reflected in some of your testimonials I was reading as well. So, that's kind of the point. There's always something new to see in Ireland. And then again, they do sell Northern Ireland and Scotland as well for your clients. So keep that in mind as well if someone has already kind of done a lot of Ireland as well. All right. Well, the time is 2 o'clock, so we've kind of run out, but let's go ahead and do our drawing. I've got my laptop up over here, so we'll do a little drawing here. And the winner is, drum roll, Sarah Novak is our winner. So thank you, Sarah. And thank you for the rest of you as well. Sarah, I'll be in touch via email with your gift card, and it's an e-gift card. So thank you so much for all of your time today, everyone. I really appreciate it. We know you're busy. The last question, real quick, is just, do you ever plan vow renewals? That was the last question.
Yes, was that vow renewals?
Yeah, vow renewals,
Wedding
kind of
vow
like a
renewals.
wedding, and
Yeah,
yeah.
and honeymoons and weddings, and we've done a lot of family trips and wedding guest trips. So yeah, vow
Wonderful.
renewals, we can do that again based around reality in the area, and actually some new civil ceremonies can be done. So we have to get someone to come out to the location that they're on. There will be a small fee in that. It's not as expensive as having a big wedding, but vow renewals, absolutely. And if it's just something spiritual that they want to do, tell us what they're into, what they like, and we can help arrange it. It's all about picking the best location.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. We'll be in touch via email just with the PowerPoint presentation, just so you have that for your records. And thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday and the upcoming weekend.
Thank
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks, Lon.
Bye.
Thanks, Colm and Nuala. You did great. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.